Good morning again, dear colleagues. It's now 10. We may begin the session. So my name is Lawrence Asani from the RCD unit of the Postgraduate School. I will be your moderator for today's workshop. I just want to confirm again if I'm audible enough. If everybody can hear me, please just indicate with a thumbs up. Okay, thank you. I'd like obviously to start off by thanking all the attendees for taking their time to join us, and most importantly, to thank our presenter for her efforts, Ms. Marit Adele, for her efforts in preparing to giving this presentation. So before I begin the session, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping rules. If you do have any question during the presentation, please raise your hands. And if you'd like to speak, I will unmute your mic and indicate to the presenter to address your question. Or you can also use the chat box to type in your question, and I will indicate to the presenter. And also please note that this session will be recorded, and the presentation slides will all be posted on the model communities, and a feedback survey will be sent during the session. And in the chat session, I would like to request please to fill it out so that we may gain insight on whether this workshop is, how insightful this workshop is and how we can improve in the future, as well as to provide some kind words for our facilitator for her hard work. So before I begin, I'd like to introduce our facilitator, Ms. Adele. So Ms. Adele began her tenure as a temporary administrative assistant at the Faculty of Economics and Business Management during the Rao era in 2002, securing a permanent position soon after. She was promoted to faculty officer, was transitioned to UJ and advanced through various roles, eventually becoming a senior faculty officer. In 2012, she moved to the Faculty of Art, Design and Architecture, where she began working for over a decade as a senior faculty officer. With 20 years at UJ, she has developed strong administrative problem-solving skills, focusing on innovative solution and process improvement. She's very proficient in several software applications and systems, including MS Office, MS 365, Header, ITS, and others. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce again our facilitator. You may begin the session, Ms. Adele. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Welcome, everybody. I'm just going to quickly share my very short presentation. I'm not going to take up a lot of your time. So let me just open this quickly. Can everybody see that?
Yes, you can see that. Thank you.
Okay, great. So basically what I'm just going to quickly chat about is the thesis format and submission procedure for our M&D students. Firstly, 3 to 4 months prior to your submission, you would need to submit to me an intention to submit. This document you will get from me, so you can just pop me an email, tell me that you need your intention to submit. You'll complete that and send it through to me. Just to note that the usual submission date is the end of October, and this then allows us enough time to contact the assessors, send them the documentation. They require a minimum period of 5 weeks to assess when it comes to a dissertation, and 6 weeks when it comes to a thesis. So when submitting at the end of October, I require the written permission from your supervisor that indicates that they are happy that you submit to me, You, as a student, will submit a declaration or affidavit stating that this is original work. And then with that, you will send me an electronic copy of the dissertation or thesis, preferably in PDF. But I also would like, it's not necessary, but some assessors do ask for a Word format document. So if you can send me both, that would be great. Sometimes they would like to make notes on the Word document. It's not always as easy for them to do PDF edits. And including, so I know that your supervisors usually help students with the Turnitin report. So that is an additional document that I require. And this is just to mitigate any risks when it comes to, no, I can't think of the word, plagiarism. There we go. Next is the assessment process. So just quickly, after you've submitted your copies of your dissertation and thesis to me, this is distributed to the assessors. Like I said, five weeks for masters, 6 weeks for PhD. The PhD also includes a Viva process, which I arrange. This happens a week after the assessment reports have been received. And this is basically just an online meeting between the assessors, the supervisor, the student, and the facilitator. So this isn't a very long process, mostly an hour. This is only for the assessors to have a discussion with the student and discuss areas of interest or curiosity, matters that require clarification, the quality of arguments. The Viva also offers an opportunity for guidance and advice to present it to the student. And this is to enable enhancement of the work, and maybe future use in the student's career. After the assessors reports have been received by me, I appoint a consolidated report writer, which is then given the report to summarize and make a recommendation. Assessment committee is then convened by myself. I sit in on this meeting. This would include the consolidated report writer, the dean, the vice dean, and 3 additional staff from the faculty that assists with the making a decision on the outcome. So after this has been finalized, I will then inform the supervisor of the outcome, which will then be given through to the student. And after that, the student will obviously make corrections as suggested and approved by the supervisor. The student submits a final electronic copy of the dissertation and thesis to me, as well as we call it an ETD form, but this is just a form that needs to be completed for the library. All these dissertations and theses get uploaded to the library repository for use for any other students' use. It's available for everyone. I will, after this, then capture the final mark, and the student will have access to an academic record stating that they've completed their qualification and what their result is. I will also, once we finalize the graduation, basically the students will be informed of the graduation. Usually we don't, as the faculty, have those dates immediately available. We get notified by the graduation office. but you will, as a student or graduate, be notified by the graduation office. If you obviously have any questions on that, you're welcome to ask me. But yeah, that's it from me. It was just a quick intro to let you know what I do. If you have questions, you're welcome to ask. I can. I think that's more important is the questions, because I know the students always have questions.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much, Mr. Dell, for those insights. And I'm sure definitely a lot of students would have questions regarding, the thesis submissions, the thesis procedures, because everybody has different experiences when they submit. So now we can make room for questions. If there's anybody with any questions for Ms. Adele, then she'll be available to attend to all questions that you might have regarding your thesis submission and everything else. So yeah, there is a question in the chat box for you, Ms. Adele. It says, good morning, Ms. Maritz. When will the next submission window be, considering the 31st October window has now passed?
I don't understand what you mean by the window is passed.
Yeah, I don't know, because the question,
The 31st of October is still ongoing. Do you mean you will not be able to make the 31st of October?
you can also raise your hand and you can unmute your mic if you'd like to speak. Okay, here you go. Let's speak, Kyle.
Cool. Thank you very much. Thanks, Mr. Moritz. So my question, just to clarify, so I'm just trying to understand is if the intention to submit before the 31st, we had to be 3 to 4 months in advance. It's now only a month now until October. I assume that's now out of scope.
Yeah. So usually what would happen is students that go over time would submit by the end of May the following year. But that means that you would have to register for the first semester. I see someone noted that they started in the second semester, which means you would have to register for the first semester to allow for the May submission. And that does mean, however, that you would need to pay for the first semester.
Great. Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you.
No problem.
Oh yeah, I see that you answered the questions. Only submission on it. Oh, okay, yeah, I see. Because I started my PhD in the second semester.
Yes.
This is the question that you just clarified.
Correct.
Yes. If there's anybody with any more questions, Miss Dar, regarding the submission processes.
I did include my email address. You're welcome to send me any questions, additional information that you might require. I can also you can also use that email to request the documents or the forms to be sent to you. The supervisors usually have these, but not always. So you're welcome to ask for that.
Okay, yes, I have again posted it again in the chat box, the email. I have probably this. So there's a question said, I missed the first few minutes. Is it possible to do a recap of the key aspects?
Okay, so basically, let me just open my presentation quickly. So the key aspects basically is just that before you can submit your dissertation or your thesis, 3 to 4 months before the submission date, which is the end of October, you would need to submit the intention to submit to me. This allows me to just confirm that the assessors are still available. After that, you submit your dissertation or thesis to me in PDF and Word format. The supervisor, however, needs to submit a approval document or permission that you are allowed to submit to me. And you as a student also submit a declaration or affidavit stating that it's your own work. After that, the documents are sent to the assessors. Master's assessors have 5 weeks to assess, PhDs 6 weeks, and for PhDs, a week after the assessment reports have been received, would then take part in a Viva process. The Viva process is just a recap of the outcome of the assessment, and for the assessors to have a chat to the student to clarify any questions they might have. Once that is done, I request a consolidated report writer to summarize and make a recommendation, and an assessment committee is convened, and when that is finalized, I inform the supervisor of the outcome, which is then sent through to the student. After that, the supervisor will, with the student, make the final changes and submit a final document to me with the library form for uploading to the repository. So that's just a quick recap. And if you have a question, you're welcome to ask.
So just a quick one. I just wanted to ask, is the intention to submit form submitted by the supervisor or the student?
The student usually, however, the supervisor would give you the form. You would complete it, and the supervisors, I just want to confirm, I think the supervisor signs that off as well. And this is just for me to note so that I can update the system that I'm waiting for your documents, and also to check if the assessments are available. I just want to quickly check the form. I wanted to drop it into the chat box, but I see it doesn't allow me to do that.
I think you can just drop it to us, then we can share it together with your presentation slides rather.
Okay, I will do that.
Later stage. Or you can probably share it on the screen so that they can see it, how it looks like rather.
Okay,
If that's
I can
possible.
quickly do that. It's a you just open it quickly and then share. Okay, so the intention to submit is just a short one pager, basically with the student detail, the date of your submission, and that you declare that this is your own work, the student's signature, the supervisor's signature, and at the bottom I've indicated just the normal submission dates. And you'll see the 31 May is included in that, which also shows when you can expect to graduate then. So that's it. But yeah, the supervisor will give you that form.
Okay, yeah, perfect. There is a question. Is there a maximum time allowed for a PhD?
Yes, there is. And I know it's not always kept to, because of obviously there are mitigating circumstances which students then have to apply to, but the maximum duration is 4 years full-time and 5 years part-time.
Okay. Perfect. There is a question again. Said, would you mind if I ask? It says, one of the requirements for my essay is to have a questionnaire for volunteers. Should I attach the ethics clearance page in my essay? It's for an honors student.
For an honors student.
Yeah.
Look, usually the master's and the PhD proposals, I'm not sure about honors. I can't really answer you on that, but when it comes to master's and PhD proposals, which you work on during your first year, that gets submitted to the Faculty Higher Degrees Committee, and this would include your ethics forms and your ethics clearance, any questionnaires, any ethical indications that need to be approved go to Faculty Higher Degrees. So for honors, I'm not entirely sure, but I would almost say yes. I think you would need to clear that up with your lecturer.
Perfect. I think that's clear to the student. If there's any more questions, you may raise up your hand, or you may type in the chat box if something is not clear, so that Miss Adele can address the questions. Or if there's any further questions, she has also dropped her email in the chat box, and you can further email her for any more clarifications rather after the session. So in that sense, I believe that there isn't any questions. There is a question. It says, thank you for the explanations. I'm a PhD student. Wanted to ask, how long does it take for a proposal to be approved so that one can start data collection?
Well, basically it's 6 months. So, well, okay, let me rephrase that. Masters have 3 months to work on their proposal and submit that to FHDC. PhD students have 6 months. Once these are submitted to FHDC, usually depending on when the meeting takes place, it either is approved immediately, or if there needs to be changes made, it gets resubmitted to the next meeting, and that is normally a month later. So it can take 6 to 7 months to get that finalized, but then you can start your data collection as soon as it's been approved at FHDC. Yeah.
Perfect. Any more questions? Okay. Any more questions from the students, the participants that you need clarifications with? In that sense, if there isn't any more questions from the participants, Ms. Adele, would you allow me to end the sessions? And if there's anyone else that has any questions for you, they can email you directly since you posted your email in the chat box, and that'll be fine with you.
Not a problem. You're welcome to. Thank you
Oh.
very much.
Okay, so I'd like to thank all the attendees again for attending the session. Obviously, it was quite short, but very insightful session. And, thank you so much for making your time for us, Miss Adele, and, coming and sharing your faculty insights with us and the students. So I have again posted the feedback survey in the chat box. So please just kindly fill it out. Yes, please kindly fill it out as I have posted it in the chat box. So in that regards, if there isn't any questions, I will end the session and thank you again, Mr. Dahl, for your insights. And we really appreciate you at the RCD unit. And enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.